Hi everyone, First Warn 5 Meteorologist Melissa Meeder here on our Monday morning. It's just about 16 minutes after 10 o'clock. We do have a First Warn weather day in place for today for the potential for severe storms. We do have the potential for 2 rounds in our area. I'll kind of dive a little bit deeper into that, but I want to get started with, what kind of hazards could we see as we go through the next, 24 hours or so, along with what we can expect throughout the day today. Now, most of the day is actually going to be, warm and cloudy, unfortunately, but also windy. It's humid out there. Dew points are a little bit higher. Temperatures will reach the lower 80s this afternoon. We're gusting up to 40, 45 miles an hour for the afternoon. So most of the day is dry. It's the evening where we start to see the chance for some isolated storms be possible. Now, there is a question mark there because of something called the cap. The cap is basically a lid on the atmosphere, and the cap is present right now. So it may be hard for storms to ignite and kind of form in that situation. There are starting to see some signs of that cap not being as strong and a forcing, which is something that would trigger those rain and storms to get past the cap, and that would be the dry line for this evening. So looks like we're maybe starting to see more indications that there is going to be isolated storms as we head into the evening hours. These storms pose all threats: damaging winds, very large hail, tornadoes is possible as well, and heavy rainfall. I think more likely, if these form in an isolated nature, we could see these become supercellular and therefore have the threat for tornadoes. When we get into the evening and into the overnight, that's when we see a late line along a cold front of rain and storm activity. Where the line will fire up is a little bit unknown at this point. But if the lines fire before Kansas City, we will see rain and storms. If it fires up a little bit south of Kansas City, we may not see storms. So we'll kind of walk through that. All modes of severe weather possible with the evening and into the overnight rounds. With the overnight being more of a line, maybe more of a spin-up tornado rather than a individual isolated supercell that spawns a tornado. For today, level 3 out of 5 risk in our kind of northern half. We're talking about Kansas City, points northward, kind of along the I-70 corridor and north towards Chillicothe. Level 3 out of 5 risk. That means scattered strong to severe storms are possible. Down to our south of I-70, level 2 out of 5 risk. So overall, we all have the potential for strong to severe storms this evening, but the better chances are in the higher level. So level 3 out of 5 versus level 2 out of 5. As for right now, things are pretty quiet. If you look out towards the northwest, there is some showers out there towards Falls City, Nebraska, starting to build into, our northwestern counties. Will likely drift into Maryville, but maybe a few spotty showers will be possible this afternoon because we are so saturated. We are so, humid out there. It won't be very hard to kind of squeeze out a thunderstorm. As we get past the kind of noon time frame, we're likely going to see maybe a little bit of cloud cover, more clouds move through, but things are pretty quiet. It's by the time we get to about 5, 6 o'clock, if you look off towards the northwest, those would be some of those isolated storms firing up along the dry line. Those storms at this point would move towards the east as we head through the evening hours, eventually into midnight, looking like along and north of I-70. I think that we will, if we see any of those storms trigger for the evening, it's more likely to be in that level 3 out of 5 risk versus the level 2 out of 5 risk. So this is something that has changed a little bit because I had mentioned we were seeing more of a cap. Storms weren't forming on our computer models in the evening hours because of the cap in the atmosphere. It looks like that dry line is going to start to possibly trigger some of that. So there is still the possibility that we don't see any storms this evening, but we're starting to see signs that are pointing to that we could see those isolated storms start to pop along a frontal boundary, which would be a dry line. As we get into the midnight hour, a cold front will then push into the area. That cold front will trigger rain and storms along it, some of which could be strong to severe. This particular run of this model is showing that it is forming right over the Kansas City area and then pushing south until about 5 a.m. Where the storms initiate along that line, all of us could see rain and storms. If earlier they were initiating in Atchison and St. Joseph and Cameron and then pushing down towards the southeast. So there still is the chance there that we see storms, but where exactly that is going to, kind of get rain and storms along the line, that is where we are still trying to, pin down at this point. By 5 o'clock, it's pretty much wrapped up for that kind of that line that we had, but mainly south of I-70, some spotty showers are going to be possible pretty much throughout the rest of the day, maybe a few thunderstorms as well. Not expecting any severe storm activity in our area for the most part. Just off to our southeast though for Tuesday itself as we get past the 7 o'clock time frame. When we think about the amount of rain that we could see, heavier amounts are going to be possible for those that get caught underneath a storm. Could see anywhere between about a quarter to even an inch of rain. It just kind of depends on how long it sits in the area at that point. As for right now, we're in the 70s. It's 72 here in Kansas City. We had a warm front move through last night. Yes, last night. I've been thinking because I've been up since very early in the morning. Last night, that warm front lifted through. We've been basically warming through the entire last 12 hours. 72 right now, upper 60s, lower to mid 70s at this point. It's pretty gloomy, but it is pretty humid out there. Winds are going to be sustained 15 to 20 miles per hour. We're looking at gusts 35 to 40 miles an hour as we head through pretty much the afternoon into the evening. I think we start to dwindle down though as we get into the overnight. When we see those fronts pass through, things will quiet down on the back half of that. So for our day today, when we think about how, the day will go, I think the timing for the kind of first possible round, as I'd mentioned, because that coverage would be isolated. So let's talk a little bit more about the timing and things like that before we get to kind of the rest of this afternoon. So if we see that round initially along that dry line, the coverage is going to be pretty isolated. Storms could be dangerous. That tornado threat would be present, but these may not form, as I had mentioned. And then through the rest of the overnight, that's when we would see that possible line of storms. The storm coverage would increase along that line. It still may be severe, but the risk is not going to be as high. The risk will lower because we will lose some of the, ingredients for the severe weather through the night once we lose the heating of the day. So when we think about timing, I think here for the metro, that kind of 5 to 9 time frame, 30% chance for rain and storms. Better chances will occur through the overnight. I think really through 11 to about 4 a.m. and then it starts to taper off later into the morning, and that would be Tuesday morning. Temperature-wise, now we'll talk about our temperatures a little bit more. We expect those to climb slowly into the 80s. High temperature today will reach around 81 degrees. Most of us, upper 70s to low 80 degree mark, so well above our average still for this time of year. The warm, moist air mass that we've got in the area at this point due to that warm front puts us in the warm sector. And the warm sector gives more of that severe weather juice that storms would need to occur. This is not our only chance for rain and storms this week. It's another rather pretty active week as we will see first warns again on Wednesday and Thursday. Temperatures, though, both in the lower 70s. We will be drastically cooler tomorrow behind that cold front. Mid 60s are expected. We finally start to dry out come Friday and Saturday. And then temperatures will be a little bit warmer, lower to mid 70s. We see more sunshine, which we've kind of been waiting for. It's been a bit of a gloomy last couple of days. And then that chance for rain and thunderstorm activity will return on Sunday with a 30% chance for rain. Temperatures overnight, though, pretty consistent in that lower to mid 50-degree mark. So that is the latest that I've got for you on our severe weather threat as we head into the afternoon and into the evening. Chief Meteorologist Luke Doris, Warren Sears will be with you all afternoon and evening, and then I will join them early in the morning tomorrow. So we will be with you until the threat is done, and we will continue to give you updates for the rest of the day today on this first warn weather day. Make sure, though, as you head into the evening, overnight, please have several ways to receive alerts, as most of this could occur for the overnight hours when we think about that cold front line moving through. So make sure to have several ways to receive weather alerts, something that will wake you up if you were sleeping in the case of a watch or more particularly a warning. So I hope everybody has a great day. I hope everybody has their severe weather plan in place just in case they need to use it. And we will all be here with you through the entirety of the storm, giving you the latest updates that we have. So I hope everybody has a good day, and we'll check back in later.